Good morning and welcome to Heart Mooresville, your small town radio show with a big heart. I'm your host, Christine Patterson, and we've got co-host Don Smyle.
Hello, everyone. Happy New Year's Eve.
Happy New Year's Eve. We are almost done with 2024.
I hope Santa was good to you. Brought you all kinds of
Yeah.
some good stuff.
Oh, yeah. Definitely got some goodies.
Good.
Yeah. Do you have a good year? You feel like, ranking 2024, what do you feel like?
I don't know. I guess out of a 10, maybe an 8.
Okay.
The 150 in 2023 kind of, it's hard to compare because it was so busy and we did so many cool things. And then we got into 24. And I swear to God, I felt like I blinked in December and woke up in March. It was like, what happened?
That's my thing for 2024. I just don't feel like I experienced it. I just feel like I woke up and it was gone. What about you guys?
Yeah, I feel like I started and I was like, this year's going to be great. And then I blinked and the year's over.
Yeah.
So, which is good and bad, I guess.
Too quick. And just so you know, you're hearing the voices of our special guests that we have in the studio. A cause that's definitely near and dear to my heart. And I'm so excited to have them in the studio today for our special New Year's Eve edition. We have Miss Abby Richardson, the Animal Welfare Manager of Lake Norman Humane, and Candace Murray, the Community Outreach Coordinator for Lake Norman Humane. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, so we're going to get into talking all about what Lake Norman Humane does and, some of the great events that you have coming up. Before we do, I want to talk a little bit more about New Year's. So as I do when I dig in and do some research, I found out some interesting facts about New Year's that I want to share.
Do tell.
Okay, so did you know that on New Year's, New Year's Eve event in Times Square in New York, over 50 tons of trash are left?
Jim, our park services manager, don't feel so bad. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Can you imagine sanitation cleaning up 50 tons?
Those guys, I just want to be big shout out to Jim and his crew because they've done an amazing job this year for all of the events and set up and take down and, cleaning up and maintaining our parks. So big shout out to those guys.
Yeah,
but
and
that's crazy.
I'm going to say you're welcome for not leaving 50 tons of trash, okay? You're welcome.
I actually went to New Year's Eve in New York when I was like 13 or 14 years old.
Oh, wow. That's a cool experience.
I had a friend that moved there and I went to visit him. And it was quite the experience. It was like just the sensory overload of the whole thing. But now I'm happy to watch it on TV. Yeah. Like the rest of the world.
Yeah. That's why I feel like most Americans experience it.
Yeah.
So out of that 50 tons of trash, 3,000 pounds of it is confetti. And there's something interesting about that confetti that I did not know. So they actually started this thing in 2015. It's called Wishfetti. And people submit their wishes to the wish wall in Times Square online, and they turn those into confetti. So all of that confetti that falls down at New Year's has people's wishes on them. How cool is that?
That's awesome.
That's unique.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wishfetti.
And so it's kind of a recycle in a way because it's being used for one purpose and then being used for another.
Yeah. That's so cool. And it kind of adds a little special meaning to that now when you watch that confetti fall.
I will be thinking about that if I'm not asleep on New Year's.
Everyone's wishes for the new year.
When it comes around. So I'll either be looking at the television or looking at my eyelids, one or the other. But
yeah, there you go.
We'll see.
You go. A couple fun facts about how other countries celebrate New Year's. So Brazilians go to the beach. So it's considered good luck in Brazil to make 7 wishes while jumping 7 waves.
I can get behind that trend.
Right? Should we go to Rio? Live from Rio.
Bill, can you hook us? Can you pack us up in a I
yes,
heart Rio? I love it.
do heart Rio. I heart Mooresville, but I definitely heart Rio. And then in Denmark, you might hear the sound of breaking plates on New Year's Eve because they hold a tradition of throwing plates at the front door of family and friends' homes to welcome good fortune.
Wow. Well, it's either your wife is mad at you or you're celebrating. You'll never know the difference.
Yeah.
Breaking plates.
It's crazy, right? I don't know how it would feel if someone just came up, like, say, some neighbor moves in next door from Denmark and, midnight, you hear someone throwing plates at your front door and you're like, what?
911. 911. Yeah.
They build sturdy doors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would also have to lock up my fine china.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of crazy, right? Then how many New Year's resolutions do you guys feel like are forgotten every year? Like, what percentage of New Year's resolutions do you feel like are not kept?
90%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would go 90.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel
Ooh.
like it's got to be high.
Yeah.
Well, you're close, but it's 80%. 80%.
And how would you verify that?
I mean, it's got to be like surveys,
Yeah.
But
I'm
crazy.
sure the biggest one's probably, I'm going to get in shape. I'm going to the gym because I swear to God,
Yeah.
I go to the gym like all year long.
Yeah.
And come the beginning of January, it is packed with people, right?
Well.
And then about 1st of February, it's pretty much back to normal.
No, so you're right. It said about 80% of people forget their New Year's resolutions by February.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll be more optimistic than that, and we'll hope. But some of the biggest New Year's resolutions are, so yours about exercising more, getting in shape is actually the second. But the first most popular New Year's resolution is for 2024 because they did surveys for 2024. And it's, Statista, they do a ton of surveys like consensus consumer surveys. So they put out that this year, the New Year's resolution, the top one is to save more money.
Okay, that's a good one. That's always a good one.
I mean, inflation and food costs, I feel like that's probably in line with this year and what's going on. But the second one is to exercise more.
Yeah. That's always top of the list.
Yeah. Then it's to eat healthier. Fourth most popular is to spend more time with family and friends. Then to lose weight. And I feel like all of those kind of go along, like exercise more, get healthy, lose weight. Then the next is to reduce spendings on living expenses like food and energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Well, if you're going to get healthy, you're going to eat less. Therefore, you're going to buy less. And, it all goes hand in hand.
Then to spend less time on social media and then reduce stress on the job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole social media thing, I've noticed I got a new phone.
Oh,
and I
nice.
swear to God, this thing wakes up and like winks at me all the time for no reason. It's like, hello, I'm here. Remember me? Don't leave me alone.
Your phone is aching for attention.
So, yeah, bizarre.
Nice.
So, do you have any New Year's traditions?
Oh, yeah. So what do people eat? Like black-eyed peas? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
What do you? So I don't do that.
Right.
I don't. We always do like a champagne toast, and we'll stay up and watch the ball. But we don't eat anything. What about you guys?
Yeah, growing up, we did the black-eyed peas, the collard greens, the pork. I can't remember what all they go with, but it's supposed to be like money.
The green
luck.
is money.
Yeah.
I can't remember all
I think
of
the
them.
green is money, and the black-eyed peas are luck, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I take that back. I do eat grapes on New Year's Day. You're supposed to eat 12 grapes, one for each month of the year, and it's supposed to bring you
I've not heard
happiness
I
for the
haven't
year.
heard that one
that.
either.
We did. I did that with my friend last year. We ate.
What about
grapes.
you, Candace?
Growing up, my big thing was my grandmother would always make pigs in a blanket, and then she would add ham and green beans to them because
Ooh.
of her Dutch background. Now,
Okay.
whether that's valid or not, I have no
Okay.
idea. But that's what we always did growing up. I don't do it as much anymore now that she's not here. But
Pigs in a blanket. I haven't
my
done that in a while.
my
I like
mother
that
and
better than
all
collard
of my
greens.
aunts still do pigs in a blanket every year for New
Ah.
Year's. So that's,
Yeah, I think for us, it was, if we make it to New Year's Eve evening, obviously it's champagne, watch the New Year's ball drop, crash hard. And then it's football on New
Yeah.
Year's Day.
I feel like a lot of
Yeah.
people do that too.
Mhm.
It's recovering for
Yeah.
a lot of people. So
Yep.
I will just say to everybody out there, be safe. Don't drink and drive.
Yes.
There's a thing called Uber. There's a thing called Lyft. There's lots of ways to get home.
Yeah.
So please
Be
safe
responsible.
out there.
All right. Really quick. Go around the table. What's your New Year's resolution? One word.
Probably more time off social media.
More time off social media.
staying in shape.
Work-life balance.
Me too. Work-life balance. All right. We'll be right back with Heart Mooresville.
All right. Welcome back to Heart Mooresville on WSIC, our special New Year's Eve edition. And I am Don Smyle along with my co-host Christine Patterson. And we are excited today to be able to talk to Abby Richardson and Candace Murray from Lake Norman Humane. Obviously doing yeoman's work, taking care of pets and rescues and all those wonderful things. So we're going to get into that. So I guess let's start with Candace. So tell me a little bit about you, how you ended up here. Are you a native Mooresvillian?
I am not. I actually grew up in Pennsylvania, but I've lived all over the country.
Okay.
So I grew up in Pennsylvania, and then I moved to DC, and then Virginia, and then I lived out in Nebraska for a while. And then I flipped a coin and during COVID and ended up in Mooresville.
Heads Carolina.
Yeah,
Heads
That's
Carolina.
right. Heads Carolina.
I actually
Tails Carolina.
I was born in Virginia, on a naval base in Virginia.
Oh, nice.
So,
I lived in Virginia too for a long time.
It's nice out there.
Yeah.
I mean, it was.
I don't
was a good
remember
change.
anything about it because I think we left when I was like 6 months old, and then I went back and I was like, well, this place isn't bad.
Yeah.
Kinda cool.
Virginia has, close to the coast, close to the mountains, kind of like North Carolina. They have a lot of similar benefits.
So you are the community outreach coordinator for Lake Norman Humane. So I guess explain to us what that role is.
You're animal welfare, right?
No, Abby's animal welfare.
Okay. Candace?
No, Abby and Candace.
Candace, Abby. Okay, sorry. I'm getting our guests
Did you
mixed
start
up.
drinking early?
Yes. Listen, I'm ready for New Year's.
Okay.
I'm ready.
I'm going to have to drive you back to the office. No. So, all right. So anyway, tell us what the community outreach coordinator does.
So I kind of have a varied. It's very broad what I do. I mean, I help with the animals on site. I do all of our event planning. And then I also help with some of our fundraising stuff at the facility. I do fostering stuff. And then I'm also in charge of our spay-neuter clinic. So I help the community out with low-cost spay-neuter that we're able to offer there. And I've kind of just worked my way up into different things, and community outreach kind of just encompasses all the things that I'm able to do with the rescue.
When you were growing up, were you an animal lover? Was this always something in your blood? Because I think a lot of people that get into what you do and volunteer their time or ultimately make a career out of taking care of animals or rescues, it's something that probably started young.
Yeah, I can't say that I was as deeply involved, but I mean, my mom would have to bring me in because there would be like a wounded squirrel in the backyard, and I would feel the need to bring it inside and try to save it. I don't know that I ever saw it being a career, but as I got older and I started fostering privately when I lived in different places, and then I just got heavily involved with Lake Norman and kind of worked my way up and found out that that's where my heart was, and I wanted to continue to grow in that.
So obviously there's a lot of, organizations that help animals. What was it about Lake Norman Humane that wanted you to join their team?
So I always fostered pregnant moms. That was kind of my specialty when I fostered in different places. And when I moved to Mooresville, there was a dog at Lake Norman Humane that they did a maternity shoot for. Her name was Kira.
Oh my gosh.
So she was on a bed. She had a tutu. It was the
That's
cutest.
adorable.
It was the cutest thing I have ever seen. And I was like, I think I need to go volunteer with this place, because any facility that wants to take the time to put on an entire maternity shoot for a dog, I need to know these people. Those are my people.
Right.
And I put in my application to volunteer, went into orientation, started out as a volunteer, primarily there 3.5 years ago, worked with our volunteer coordinator. She trained me and then fell in love with it, and it turned into a career. So,
oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I love that. I have never seen a maternity shoot for a dog. I'm going to need to see that.
I will say it was quite a production. So it was me and one of our other staff members. She's actually our social media coordinator now. And she worked in like makeup and cosmetics and stuff beforehand. So she had like all these like lights and stuff that she brought in that we set up on her so that we had good lighting. We went into our warehouse and found like all the donated like little outfits. I like brought my veil from my wedding in to put on her. And yeah, she was a really sweet, amazing dog. So she made it really easy for us to try to get those
I see a calendar theme here.
I know.
You guys should do a calendar.
That's a great idea.
A shoots like that, the maternity, maybe the educated dog, and maybe the hip dog, and I could see a whole calendar of this.
That's really
and
cool.
it would be a great fundraising event.
It
great
would be. Yeah.
That's really cool.
So
Oh,
I'm in marketing, by the way.
Yeah,
That's what I do. So yeah.
So I think for the most part, you guys do cats and dogs. Does Lake Norman Humane, help other animals? Is it just primarily focused on cats and dogs?
Yeah, so we do have, we'll take in exotics is what we call them as well. It's just not your normal domesticated animals. But that includes rabbits, guinea pigs. We've had a parakeet before, which was actually a stray parakeet that somebody just...
Oh, wow.
It just got out.
It flew into their bathroom.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And then they brought it in. We've had reptiles. I have yet to have a snake. I want a snake so bad. My director is terrified of them. So I always tell her that we're going to keep it in her office.
I'm good with snakes because they typically are, you never see them because they hear you coming and they get, they don't want anything to do with you. Now, spiders, on the other hand, cannot do a spider. They're too fast and they're too many legs. They're just creepy.
Nope. Yep. Not doing spiders. Yeah, we have owned snakes, actually. My son, who is, in college and out of the house now, he had a ball python. But it was interesting to learn because ball pythons, you think of snakes and, they're going to strike me, they're going to bite me. But a ball python's, first instinct is to ball up in a ball, not to strike. So they're actually really gentle, animals.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't get around your throat.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
then you got to
I didn't get that close to it. But we cared for it and we made sure he had a good home.
I had a friend that moved to Atlanta. We went to visit her and she loved exotics. And so she had in her guest bedroom this big giant aquarium full of snakes, like big snakes. And I remember going there and we had to sleep in the guest bedroom and slept. And all night long, all I could think about was one of those things getting out and, wrapping around my face. So it was just one of those nights where I didn't get much sleep.
That's hard as a guest. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, wow. Well, I know obviously the goal is to find, homes for the animals that you have. Walk us through the adoption process if somebody did want to adopt an animal, or foster. What does that process look like?
Yeah, so we have an open adoption policy. We don't have like a formal application that people have to fill out online. We have found that those don't really give us a good feel for what the person wants or what they need. So we have gone to a strictly adoption counseling, so just a conversation-based adoption. So people come into the facility, they fill out a short adopter profile just to help us get the conversation started. And then we just kind of chat with them, figure out what they're looking for, and try to pair them with an animal that we think best suits their lifestyle.
I've always heard that sometimes owners end up looking like their pets or vice versa. And so I'm curious if when you meet with somebody, if that's kind of in the back of your mind, you're obviously they may come in and have a preference for something, but it's like you kind of know when you look at somebody, maybe what they would be compatible with, you think? Yeah.
I mean, I'm a husky person and I think we find each other. Like, I definitely think that people that, like, and Abby and her wolf dogs and her scruffy dogs, like I
had a husky.
Yeah. There are people that come in and I'm like, you're a husky person, aren't you? Aww. And they're like, I am. Yeah. And I'm like, I got just the dog for you. I do think maybe if not physically looking like one another, like you can generally read people's energy and really get a good feeling of exactly what they're looking for. And like Abby said, like we've put an adoption process in place that takes away some of the barriers to help people find what they're looking for.
Yeah, I was saying earlier that I've had 3 cats and they were all adopted. And you're right. They typically choose you, because I remember going in and you just have this connection with a particular animal. And, we went and I saw that cat and just the way she looked at me. And I thought, no, I don't really want a mature cat. I kind of want a kitten, and then grow up together. But I couldn't get her out of my mind. And so the entire time we were in there, I kept thinking about that cat. And then I went back and I was like, oh no, I have to have her. And then, so the compromise was my wife said, well, I really want a kitten. So we got 2.
That's a great compromise.
And we thought it would be great because one could learn from the other. And now I will say the mature cat didn't have the patience for the kitten that smacking her all the time. Right. But it was nice. They grew up together and, coming out of the shelter together, I think there was a relationship there. But yeah, I think they do choose you in some ways.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Cats are really good at that. We like to call that the cat distribution method.
Yeah. I like that. I like the way your brick and mortar is set up. So, when you come in there, you have that playroom and usually the cats are in there and you can kind of go in and you can see the cat's personalities. So I really love that, that we actually adopted a cat. from you guys several years ago. It's my son's cat, actually. He's a big cat person. And it was a pair of 2 kittens, Holly and Jolly, because they came in at Christmas. And so you had named them Holly and Jolly. We renamed it. He renamed her Karuma after anime that he liked. So.
I love that. My recent puppy litter is all anime characters. So.
Oh, nice. Yes. And she was very loved. And, but I like the way that you can kind of go in and see who's friendly and if their personality, meshes with you. I love that.
Yeah. And the kitten that we chose, my wife chose her because she dominated that pen she was in. All the other kittens were there, whatever. And this one was just like on top of them. And it's like, I'm, hello, me, here, right? And my wife's like, I want her, So it was, again, I think they chose us, not the other way around, right? So
absolutely.
That's fun.
So do you feel like you have more cats or dogs right now?
They're actually pretty closely tied right now, I think. Aren't we at 50-something dogs and 45 cats?
I would say dog-wise, adoptions are a little slower for our dogs. Our cats, I swear we bring them in and they just move right out, which is amazing.
That's great. Yeah, that's great.
Nice.
It's awesome.
That's really good.
Especially the kittens.
Yeah. Good. All right. Well, we're talking to Lake Norman Humane, Abby and Candace, and we are going to be right back after a break to hear more about it on WSIC. Welcome back to Heart Mooresville. We are talking with Abby and Candace of Lake Norman Humane. So we've talked a little bit about your furry friends that you have. Now, for people wanting to adopt, tell us a little bit more about that adoption process. You kind of walked us through the process, but what can they expect, as part of that?
Yeah, so once you find your new furry companion, we will kind of walk you through the process, and you can actually take them home that day. And our adoption fees include their spay-neuter costs, so you don't have to worry about that. We do require all of our animals to be spayed and neutered, because, again, our goal is we are trying to reduce the amount of homeless animals in the community and help them all stay in homes.
Absolutely. That's great that you include that cost with the adoption. Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah, and all their vaccinations up to the date of adoption. So sometimes with kittens, they'll need boosters and stuff like that. So if they need anything extra after adoption, you'll have to follow up with your own vet, but there are some amazing vets in this area.
Nice. So now obviously you do accept donations as an organization. What are the kind of, do you need right now that people can help with?
I mean, we can use everything. The only thing that we essentially don't use are pillows, because we use blankets and towels for all of our animals in the facility. We supply all supplies for our fosters when they go into foster. So we give all of that to the people that are coming in and taking our animals. We need food because we have a food pantry. So we help the community out. So any type of food not used for our animals, we give it directly back to the community to help them. Treats, cat litter, bleach, cleaning supplies. We could essentially use all of that stuff because we are constantly going through that stuff on the back end. Okay, nice. Now, you also hold fundraisers, right? So tell us about some upcoming events that you have. So our biggest event that we have coming up is our casino night, which is going to be March 21st. We don't have all the information out quite yet for that. Tickets are going to be available soon, but it's going to be at Trump National in Mooresville. Cocktails, a fantastic dinner to go with it. Casino night. Dinner. That sounds fun. We did it 2 years ago. You should require people to wear tutus. Right? Be a great photo op. That would be fantastic. But it's going to be a super fun event. We did it 2 years ago, and it was a really fun night for everybody that came out. So we're excited to be able to host that again in 2025. Yeah, absolutely. That sounds like a lot of fun. So that's March 21st. Yep. Casino night, and they can just kind of stay tuned on your website for more information. If they follow our website, if they go on there, ticket sales, there'll be a pop-up as soon as they're available. We're kind of just working out the final details for everything for that. And then they'll be able to go on and purchase their ticket and come out and enjoy that night with us. Awesome. Are animals allowed? I don't know if we're going to be able to bring them to Trump. I think we had talked about it being too loud for them out there. So probably not that event. But if you go to our smaller events around the community, and when we do stuff with Town of Mooresville, we have all those as adoption events for our animals to come out and for everybody to meet them. Awesome. So what advice would you give someone who's considering adopting? I mean, what should they be thinking about before they come in? Just, in the challenges that are associated with adopting an animal and maybe things they aren't thinking about.
Yeah. I think that people really need to consider their lifestyle. What kind of animal would fit best into their current life? Are they wanting to alter their lifestyle, or do they want it to kind of stay the same? Especially with inflation and pricing coming up. That's something to consider as well, because vet visits and things like that can be expensive. And work schedule. So I feel like a lot of people put a lot of emphasis on their work schedule. But if you think about it, almost everyone works. Mm-hmm. So they have that 9-to-5 job is very common. And with a 9-to-5 job, you can still have a pet. You can still have a dog. I know people get really concerned about leaving their dogs at home. Almost all of us at the shelter have to do that as well. So it's just making the time count with your animal when you are there with them. So it's okay to leave them throughout the day. There's lots of like camps and like daycares you can send them to, or dog walkers, things like that. Yeah. But in general, they're happier being at your house than they would be sitting in a shelter environment.
Yeah, dog walking is a big business now.
Yes.
Right? And so I know people who literally, that's their life. Like they're a dog walker and they succeed.
And I feel like so many people, I go over to their houses now and people have doggy doors too. Mm-hmm. Like you're seeing that more, and people have fenced in backyards and then they can just come and go as they please.
Oh, and the other thing that it kind of popped up is poop picker-uppers. Right?
Yes.
You know, that's become a big business too. I mean, when you see trucks on the road with that advertisement, and their job is to go to your backyard and clean up the dog poop, or whatever, that it's a healthy animal business happening.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. And I feel like everyone in my neighborhood has a dog. That's one thing I think during COVID that we saw was like everyone got a pet.
Yes.
Yeah.
And my family we actually got a dog during that time as well, because everybody was home. You're like, oh, I can do this. And then everyone went back to work. And, I know I personally know some families that, had that were like, well, maybe my lifestyle doesn't fit that anymore. And, that's unfortunate. I think that was definitely something that affected adoption at that time.
Definitely.
But our family kind of just made that work. And I like you said, it's okay to leave them at home for a couple hours. You can come out home on your lunch break, let them out, install a doggy door, have a fenced-in backyard.
I could not imagine
there's options.
Having a pet and then giving it away.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, once they become part of your family, like giving a kid away, how do you do that, right?
Right.
So I guess one of the things I'm for being in this business that you're in, I'm sure you have some funny stories or things that maybe were unique. Do you have anything you can share about, some interesting, things that have happened in your world, in the pet world, from an adoption or,
I know the one funny story that I love to tell, and it's, again, being a husky person, is last year I fostered a husky named Claire. And when they're moms, my rule of thumb is, while you still have your babies, you stay in the room with your babies. And then once they're separated, you can kind of get introduced to my pack at home and learn how to be a pet. And so Claire was in the foster room, which I have a whole room separated in my house for the foster animals that I bring in. And I went to work and I came home. And when I came home, not only was she out with my whole pack of dogs, so were all of her puppies. And she had decided to just introduce herself and all of her babies to my pack of dogs at home. And I came home and they were like, hey, we're best friends now. So there's no reason to put us back.
Aww.
So it was her way of basically saying, hey, I'm going to take control of this and get out of this room and go out. Because I think huskies are very social animals.
They're very social. I mean, they're very smart. They're too smart for their own good usually. And I will say, huskies are usually what I bring into my home, just because they don't thrive in shelters. So bringing them into a foster home is usually how they are successful, and especially to be able to adopt them out. She was just a super sweet girl and had made the decision that she wanted to be a pack dog, and so were all of her babies. So that's exactly what she did.
I love that.
So I have had, like I said, 3 cats, and coming up with names is always a unique thing, right? So mine were Jazz, because my wife and I loved Jazz, and so we named our first cat Jazz. And then it was Molly and Shadow. So what are some of the unique names that you either have or have seen?
Oh,
Well, one of the most recent cats that we got transferred in, his name was Heimerdinger.
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 Okay.
That's a unique name.
And then
some places like to
that.
do like celebrity spin-offs. Like there was a Katie Polly.
I've heard Kitty Purry.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
like a
Kidney Spears.
Kidney Spears was one.
that's cute.
And what are your names for your animals?
My animals at home?
Mm-hmm.
My animals at home are pretty basic. I mean, I've got Charlie, Lucy, Layla, Cotton, Nico, and Blue.
Okay.
Oh.
You have 6?
I have 6 dogs.
Wow.
Yes, 3 old, 3 younger.
Okay.
Wow.
So,
And what
yes.
about you?
So I just have one. His name, and he came with the name. So he was my first foster, and he ended up just staying with me. His name was Harvey when he came in, but it has grown to Harvard now.
Harvard.
Yes.
A little bit more astute.
He's very sophisticated.
Okay.
Nice.
He's
I like that.
German.
Harvard. Mine is Millie, but she has so many versions of. We call her Millie Maleficent. We call her Milford. We call her Mildred. We call her when we're using Mildred, Millie Patterson.
All right.
She's got lots of versions.
Yes, my dogs all have songs based off of their secondary names. So
Well, I love all those names. And we will continue this amazing conversation, woof woof, when we come back here on Heart Mooresville and WSIC. We'll be right back.
All right, we are back with Heart Mooresville here on WSIC, talking with Abby and Candace of Lake Norman Humane. So, if people want to get in touch with you, if we have inspired people to hopefully want to come visit the furry friends at Lake Norman Humane and go home with a pet, how can they get in touch?
So they can give us a call. Our phone number is 704-663-3330. We have an info email, which is just info@lakenormanhumane.org. They can stop by our facility at 2106 Charlotte Highway. And we also have social media accounts. So we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on TikTok. So yeah, they can check us out in all of those different places.
Awesome. Yeah, and definitely stop in. I feel like people need to visit the cats that are in that area and play with the cats. I mean, even if you don't want to take home a cat, just do what I do and go visit the cats sometimes.
Are you going to be a crazy cat lady, Christine?
I will absolutely be
older?
a crazy cat lady. Yes. Just, when I retire,
Right.
that's when I want to amass all my animals.
Well, and speaking of cat ladies, not in a bad way, I want to give a shout out to our 25-year Parks and Recreation veteran, Debbie Wyatt, who has retired just recently after spending 25 years in Parks and Recreation. If you want to meet somebody who is absolutely in love with cats, you have to talk to Debbie.
Yeah.
She is the epitome of a cat lover.
Yep.
And I think she has 12 or 13 of them. And oh my goodness.
Yeah.
The stories that she has about her cats.
I know. We got her a cat calendar for her retirement,
Oh,
actually.
really? Yeah, I didn't see
Cute
that.
cats, because you can never have enough cute cat pictures.
Right.
Exactly.
that's true.
All right.
Love
Well,
it.
thank you both. Anything, any shout outs you want to give before we move on?
Last words of the year.
Yeah. Come on.
I mean, if you're interested, if we did inspire you and you want to come in and adopt, definitely come in and meet our animals. Or if you just want to get involved with us with fostering, we're always looking for fosters. We love, even if it's just short term, to get the animals out of the facility during the holiday time so they can spend the holidays in a home, whether it be Thanksgiving, Christmas, or New Year's. That also helps our staff because we are restricted on volunteers during this time, and we generally only have 1 to 2 staff members that are there on holidays. So all that's helpful to us. And you can just go to our website, click Get Involved, fill out our foster application, and then we will be bringing in new volunteers starting tomorrow. So
Great.
we would love to have everybody come out and just get involved as much as they want to.
Awesome. And just for, so people know, what is the average time that a foster typically happens? Is it months or?
No, it's pretty fast. As soon as you fill out the foster application, and if you call in or you come in, I let our foster coordinator know, and she's usually in contact within 24 to 48 hours. And then there's a questionnaire section, and then we really just try to place you with the perfect fit.
Wow. And how long do people typically have the animals?
So we have different links of fostering options. So we have short-term fosters where they'll just help out with our long-term fosters if they need a break, if they're going on vacation or something like that. So they'll have like a specific time period where I can keep them for a week, from this day to this day.
Okay, so you can kind of dictate what that looks like. Oh, nice.
And then our long-term fosters are extremely helpful because they'll keep them until adoption. So those are kind of more up in the air. Mm-hmm. And then we also have like weekend fosters and doggies day out.
Nice. Like doggies day out. We have to do that. To do a Heart Mooresville doggy day out.
Sounds like a great opportunity to go to Liberty Park.
Yes.
Run around the green space.
I love that.
Yeah, I love that. We can have,
Ladies, thank you so much for joining us.
Of course. Thank you so much for having us.
All right. Well, as we wrap up this year's editions of Heart Mooresville, I want to give a big shout out to my co-host, Christine Patterson, for all of your amazing input into the show. I have enjoyed working with you.
Same to you, Mr. Smyle.
Doesn't feel like work.
No, it doesn't.
So I've enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to 2025.
That's right. It's going to be a great year.
So as we wrap up the year, I always like to talk about the days and the weeks and the month. There is a day and a week and a month for everything. There is obviously there's a dog day, there's a cat day, there's an adopt a pet day. There is everything related to what you guys do, but there's other things too. And so since we are on New Year's Eve, like this week was Boxing Day. You mentioned last week in your British accent.
Boxing Day.
Yes. Oh, I love it. I just wanted to hear her do that again.
Just had Boxing Day on the 26th of December.
Yes.
A few days passed now.
And obviously it's New Year's Eve. Tomorrow's New Year's Day. And, we want to wish everybody a safe and happy New Year. And again, don't drink and drive.
Yeah. Be safe out there.
Yes.
And then we have tons of events coming up. In the arts and events world, we had Classic Christmas a few weeks ago. We made it snow on Main Street. Always fun. So definitely stay tuned for that event next year. And want to give a shout out to Lake Norman Humane for coming out to help us with that event. You guys were amazing. You showed up in force. I hope you enjoyed the event and you guys got to set up a table, right?
Yeah, we did. We got to set it up and we had 7 different foster dogs come out and enjoy Liberty Park while we were down there.
Love that.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
I bet people just love that, seeing the animals and getting to pet them. I know that's so fun. But we really appreciated your help with that. We are always in search of volunteers for these events because it does take a big effort to put them on. So thank you for supporting us in that effort. We also announced our indoor entertainment series at the Jovi Knox Auditorium. And so we have some upcoming shows. January 17th, just in a couple weeks, we are bringing Smokey Robinson's The Miracles to the JVK. Tickets are on sale for that right now. You can go to mooresvilleevents.com. There's only a few tickets left last time I checked. We also have the Murder Mystery Dinner Theater coming up Valentine's weekend on the 14th and 15th, because what better way to celebrate Valentine's Day
every time I hear
than with a murder mystery?
Yeah, I'm going to take you out on a date and we're going to go watch people get murdered.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
we'll
a great start to a relationship.
We'll have a murder on Friday night and a murder on Saturday night. So you can choose the murder that you would like to see.
Oh, my goodness.
And then we'll end that series with a Dolly Parton tribute in April. This is not any Dolly Parton tribute. It is the #1 Dolly Parton tribute band in the U.S. It is Dolly Parton's one and only that she recognizes as a tribute. It is the closest thing that you will get to see Dolly Parton other than seeing Dolly Parton.
Wow. That's cool.
Yeah.
I've said for a couple of weeks now on the show that I feel like people really underestimate the level of talent that is coming to Mooresville for the last couple of years in terms of national acts and recording artists and tribute acts and things like that. Mooresville is not small town.
No.
Not anymore.
No. And the purpose of that is we want people to be able to come see high quality entertainment right here in Mooresville. Mm-hmm. You don't have to drive to Charlotte to see that. You can see it right here. Tons of things going on. So get your tickets, mooresvilleevents.com for those shows. And then lastly, Mooresville Day coming up, March 22nd. It's here again.
Don't blink. It'll be March.
I know.
That's what happens.
All things. It's a celebration of all things Mooresville. So come out and see us. Christine
knows people. And so what happens is the weather's always great.
Oh, yeah.
For every event.
Every event.
I'm just amazed by you. You're the oracle
I've
and
got connections.
The weather maker.
Connections.
So, all right, a couple quick notes here too. From a town perspective, the town is always looking for qualified individuals. So we have some open positions in the town now. There's things in the communication department. There's 911 dispatchers. Are you still hiring for a permit coordinator?
We are not. That one is closed, but we are hiring for a sales coordinator at the Charles Mack Citizen Center. We are hiring a marketing coordinator and an arts and events coordinator.
All right. So three open positions
they
right there. Okay.
One full-time, 2 part-time.
And I see also police officers, police school resource officer, and traffic operations. So there's a lot of opportunities in the town of Mooresville to get involved.
Yep, both full-time and part-time.
Full-time and part-time. And then a couple other quick things happening in the Parks and Recreation world. I like to say that if you've enjoyed the holidays a little too much, and one of your New Year's resolutions is to get in shape, which happens to be one of the top 5, we have the opportunity for you in Parks and Recreation. So we have a step aerobics class, which happens at the Selma Burke Recreation Center Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So convenient times and days of the week. So you can reach out to Selma Burke directly or go to mooresvillerecreation.org to learn more. And then obviously, if you find yourself still wanting to get more exercise, we have tennis classes. So we have tennis with Abe, which happens at various times. Again, go to mooresvillerecreation.org to learn more. So
lots going on. Lots going on. And you put out a friendly guide as well, right?
I do. I have an amazing marketing team, and they have recently completed the seasonal catalog. So we have the winter spring edition for the end of the year in 2025. And so you can go to mooresvillerecreation.org. It's right on our homepage. There's a flip book. You can scroll through it, or you can download a PDF right to your phone or to your computer at home. You don't even have to get the physical copy.
Yeah.
But if you want a physical copy, you can either stop by One Mooresville and pick it up at the front desk, or you can go to any of our recreation centers, our 4 recreation centers, and pick one up there.
That's right. And if you want to stay updated on all the things at Mooresville Arts and Events, you can go to the website and sign up for our mailing list. We put out a newsletter every month that has all the opportunities for community engagement, but also some behind the scenes stories about vendors that we work with, events going on, some of the shows. So you can always stay informed by signing up for our newsletter.
Yeah, and I think that your efforts now in trying to bring a centralized place for all of these events that are going on is needed. One of the things we discovered in the 150, right? There really wasn't a clearinghouse for all of that. And we created one, and then we realized the community really likes this.
Yeah.
They want to know where all this stuff is.
We need a community calendar.
And you kind of stepped up and took the lead on that.
Yeah, so. That's what we do. We don't just advertise our own events and promote those. Of course, we want people to know about those, but also on the website, you can have resources for other events. So, if like Norman Humane was hosting an event like the casino night, add that to the community calendar. Yeah. We want to help share that out. And then we actually share on our social media kind of highlights of those upcoming events every week. So definitely go to mooresvilleevents.com and see all the things coming up, not even just hosted by the town, hosted by our community as a whole, because there's some great opportunities out there. All
right. Well, again, thank you, ladies, for coming and educating us. And we appreciate everything you do for the animal community and the furry friends. Christine, Happy New Year. Happy New Year. All right. Be safe. And everyone out there listening, thank you for listening. We look forward to connecting with you in 2025. So long, 2024. All righty.